You've seen it 1,000 times. You say that one magic word, park, and your dog does it. That perfect inquisitive head tilt. Most of us think we know why. We tell ourselves they're just being cute, or maybe they're just confused. But psychologists have realized that when your dog tilts their head, they aren't actually confused at all. In fact, they might be the only one in the room who truly knows what's going on. For years, we treated this move like a charming little quirk, but new data from animal behaviorists suggests that the head tilt is actually a physical manifestation of a high speed cognitive download. Your dog isn't just listening to your voice, they are performing a complex mental calculation to decode your hidden intentions. Today, we're going inside the canine mind to reveal the three psychological triggers behind the tilt. And once you see what's actually happening behind those eyes, you'll realize your dog isn't just watching you, they're reading you in a way no human ever could. Real quick, hit the like button if you're a dog lover too, and subscribe to our channel if you want to understand your dog's brain better than 99% of other owners. To understand the head tilt, we have to talk about a very special group of dogs. Scientists call them gifted word learners. Now, most dogs are smart. They know sit, stay, and down. But these gifted dogs are on a whole different level. We're talking about dogs, mostly border collies, but other breeds too, that can learn the names of over 100 different toys. If you tell them to go find Mr. Hedgehog in a pile of 50 toys, they'll get it right every single time. Researchers at Ethos Laurent University in Hungary decided to study these genius dogs. They wanted to see what happened in their brains when they heard a word they knew. They sat these dogs down and started saying the names of their toys. Where's the blue ball? Where's the rope? And that's when they noticed something incredible. The average dogs, the ones who didn't know the names of their toys, hardly ever tilted their heads. But the genius dogs, they tilted their heads 43% of the time. Why? Because for a dog, a head tilt is like a processing bar on a computer. When you say a word your dog knows, like park or treat, your brain doesn't just hear a sound. It searches through a mental filing cabinet. It's looking for the image of the green grass, the smell of the trees, or the taste of the chicken. The tilt happens at the exact moment their brain clicks. It's the physical sign that they are matching your human word to a real world memory. But here's the kicker. Scientists found that dogs almost always tilt their head to the same side every time. If your dog tilts to the right today, they'll probably tilt to the right tomorrow. This suggests that one side of their brain is doing the heavy lifting to understand you. So, the next time your dog tilts their head when you talk, don't just think it's cute. Realize that at that very moment, your dog is working harder than a college student taking a final exam. They are desperately trying to turn your human noises into a picture they can understand. But what if your dog isn't a genius who knows 100 words? What if they still tilt their head even when you're just talking about your day? Well, that leads us to the second reason, and this one has nothing to do with their brain and everything to do with their face. Before we move on, I want you to try something right now. It sounds silly, but it will change how you look at your dog forever. Take your hand and make a fist. Now hold that fist right in front of your nose, like a muzzle. Now look at anyone else in the room. Do you see what happened? Your snout is blocking the bottom half of the world. Specifically, it's blocking the most important part of a human face, the mouth. Keep that fist there because in the next section, we're going to look at why that big nose is actually a major problem for your dog and how the head tilt is their secret weapon for reading your emotions. Remember that fist you held up to your nose? Keep thinking about that. As humans, we look at a dog's snout and think it's just for smelling. But for a dog, that snout is a giant wall sitting right in the middle of their vision. Now, why does this matter? Because your dog is a world class detective. They don't just listen to the sounds coming out of your mouth, they read your mouth. They watch the way your lips move, the way your jaw tightens, and the way your teeth show when you smile. To a dog, your mouth is a control center for your emotions. But there's a problem. If you're standing right in front of your dog, their own nose blocks the bottom half of your face. They can see your eyes just fine, but they can't see if you're smiling or if you're frowning. In 2013, a famous dog expert named Dr. Stanley Coren realized something. He noticed that dogs with flatter faces, like pugs or French bulldogs, tilted their heads way less than dogs with long noses, like German shepherds or greyhounds. The reason is simple. The pugs didn't have a wall in the way. They could already see your whole face. But the long-nosed dogs, they were playing a constant game of peekaboo. When your dog tilts their head, they're literally shifting their camera angle. By moving their head to the side, the snout moves out of the way, and suddenly, boom, they have a clear view of your mouth. They aren't just trying to be cute. They're trying to see if you're actually happy, or if that good boy you just said was a little bit sarcastic. They're looking for the truth behind your words. But what if you're in a dark room? What if your dog can't see your face at all, but they still tilt their head? That brings us to the third reason, the acoustic antenna. Dogs have incredible hearing. They can hear frequencies so high that they would make a human's ears bleed. But they have one major weakness. They aren't great at figure out exactly where a sound is coming from. Think of your own ears. They are flat against the side of your head. When a sound hits you, your brain calculates the tiny difference in time it takes to hit your left ear versus your right ear. That's how you know a car is honking behind you to the left. But a dog's ears are different. Many dogs have big, floppy pinnae, those ear flaps that cover the ear canal. While those flaps are great for protecting the ear, they act like heavy curtains for sound. When you talk to your dog, they want to hear every single syllable perfectly. So they tilt. By tilting their head, they are changing the height of their ears. One ear goes up and one ear goes down. This levels the playing field. It allows them to catch the sound waves at a different angle, helping them pinpoint the exact location and tone of your voice. Think of it like an old school TV antenna, the kind you had to wiggle around to get the picture to stop flickering. That is exactly what your dog is doing. They are wiggling their head to get a high definition signal of your voice. They want to make sure they don't miss the T at the end of treat or the K at the end of walk. Now, at this point, you're probably looking at your dog and thinking, wow, you're a little furry scientist. And 99% of the time, you're right. But there is a 1% that every dog owner needs to know about. Because sometimes a head tilt isn't a sign of intelligence. Sometimes it's a cry for help. We've talked about the genius tilt, but now we have to talk about the medical tilt. Most of the time, your dog tilts their head when you're talking and then they straighten it back up when you stop. That's normal. That's healthy. But if you notice your dog's head is permanently tilted, even when they're eating, even when they're sleeping, or even when they're just walking across the room, you need to pay attention. There are two main reasons this happens. The inner ear infection. Just like humans, dogs can get nasty infections deep inside their ears. This causes pressure and pain. A dog will tilt their head to the side of the infection to try and drain the feeling or relieve the pressure. Vestibular disease. This sounds scary, but it's basically a problem with their internal GPS. Inside a dog's ear is a system that tells them which way is up and which way is down. If that system glitches, the dog feels like the whole world is spinning. They tilt their head because they are literally trying to stay upright. If your dog is tilting their head all the time, or if they seem dizzy and are stumbling, don't wait. Get them to a vet. Because in those cases, the tilt isn't them trying to understand you, it's them trying to understand why the room won't stop moving. There is one final reason your dog tilts their head, and honestly, it's the most important one of all. It's called social reinforcement. Think about the very first time you saw your dog tilt their head. What did you do? You probably smiled. You probably said, "Oh my goodness, look at you," in that high-pitched baby voice we all use. You might have even reached down and given them a massive scratch behind the ears or a piece of your sandwich. Dogs are the greatest observers on the planet. They have spent 30,000 years watching humans. They know exactly which of their behaviors make us happy. When your dog tilts their head, they see your pupils dilate. They smell the hit of dopamine in your system. They realize that this one simple movement makes you love them even more. So in a way, the head tilt is a bridge. It's a bridge between two different species that don't speak the same language. When you talk to your dog about your bad day at work or your plans for the weekend, they don't understand the words spreadsheet or promotion, but they understand the vibration of your voice. And by tilting their head, they are telling you, I am here, I am listening, and I am trying my absolute hardest to be what you need right now. So, why do dogs tilt their head? Now we know it's not just a cute quirk, it's a sign of a genius at work. It's a dog matching your words to their memories, moving their snout to read your expressions, and tuning their ears like a satellite dish to catch every word you say. But most of all, it's a sign of effort. While most people struggle to pay attention for 30 seconds, your dog is literally rotating their skull just to understand you better. The next time your best friend gives you that 45-degree tilt, don't just grab your camera. Reach out and give them a pat, because in that moment, they are doing everything in their power to bridge the gap between their world and yours. And that is why we call them man's best friend. So, does your dog tilt to the left or right? Let me know in the comments. I'm curious to see if we have more righties or lefties watching today. If this video changed the way you look at your best friend, show us some love by giving it a like. And if you want to see more, subscribe and turn on that notification bell to join our dog lover community. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.